This is my Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief movie review. When I saw this movie, like the fifth time, here's my thoughts about it. I think all the casting and the visuals and directing wise is amazing. Here are my cons. First of all, Percy Jackson is not 16 in the first book. He's 12, and Annabeth should be 12. And second of all, they should include. They missed a lot of important details, like how Percy is really connected to his mother, showing more of Chiron, who trains heroes at Camp Half-Blood. It's like in the book, it's well detailed and explained, but then it's kind of like a mystery until a few chapters later that he's like the son of Poseidon. Well, I think the book has should I think the book should be adapted, but not their own version. Well, I think their version of Percy Jackson in for the first book is okay. I think they twisted things around, but it fit. Like here's an example that I have to tell you. Like when Percy Jackson saved his mother, he didn't though. He didn't save his mother, but he did stop Luke. And then later, towards the end of the book, she's right there in front of him, pretty much. And then she jumps to his horrible stepdad. Anyway, pretty much, but not froze him, but not freeze him, put him concrete. It's the after credit scene. It's really funny. Well, I have a lot of cons about this movie. I mean with the writing, but I think the casting is perfect. This director was Christopher Columbus. He directed the first two Harry Potter films. I think he's gonna Harry Potter. He's gonna Harry Potter and this, but thank God he's not directing the second one. He's good. They changed the writer, thank God. And I think that the movie should have stuck more to the book. And like, how old was Percy Jackson? Is 16, but then and that's not the idea of the book. He's 16 in the last book, so that it sets up the Heroes of Olympus. That sets up with a spoiler for the 16th series. It's spoiler with the Roman gods versus Greek gods. No, he cannot be 16. If he's 16 in this, then he'll be then it's. The one thing I hate about this movie is the age differences. But I know they had to tweak things to make it work. But for Warner Brothers, they casted children, British children, and then they grew up into the characters. Why can't you do the same thing with Percy Jackson? It's not that hard, actually. Percy Jackson's 12, then in each book he ages through the end. And pretty much, I do not get it. Well, I get the changes for many reasons, but I think the stupidest thing they did with this movie, they did not include the Oracle. With the Oracle, I hope the Oracle is in the second book and the first book, because the Oracle plays Todd in the Camp Half-Blood. I mean with their quests. And then they didn't show Annabeth healing Percy Jackson, because that's how they build their romance in the until the fifth book, when they become boyfriend and girlfriend. I've read all the Percy Jackson books. I have not read the second series. By far, this film is visualized, directing-wise, casting-wise is amazing, but I think the writing does not fit for the film. There are a lot of cons for me. I hate the aging. I hate what they did to the story. It fit though. I love the actor they chose for Percy, but he was more real in the book. He was more real into the book. And then in the film, he's the same person. He's sort of the same person. but it was a mystery that he was the Poseidon's kid. No one knew, and then they had a reason for the three powerful gods not to have children that they not put in the book. I hope they put it. And they did not mention the search of Pan, which Grover has to search for the Lord of the Wild. Spoiler alert for the second book, and for the book, for the first and second book though. But the next film's coming out next August. If they do not, they can fix their mistakes, because they can, or maybe after the events, I don't know, but I know they're gonna tweak. I know they tweaked the story, but it should have not been tweaked. The original story was better, and this film was entertaining. It was great action. I love the visuals, I love the casting, and I love the fights that they have in this movie. And there's a little bit of comedy in here, a little funny comedy, but I also love that they include the mythology to it. But the book had so much detail of Annabeth and Percy's relationship, Grover's relationship, Spat in the Hat. The teacher had a deeper role, and then pretty much it was like on and back and forth. And then they had many reasons why Percy didn't know, and they had many reasons why Percy should never been born. I think Percy Jackson, the book series, is awesome, but if they fuck up the second film, then I'm done with the movie. Because I'm a big fan of the books, and I do not like the changes to the film. I do not like changes. I hate tweaks. I hate editing, but it fit because they chose. Here's my theory. I think they casted it. And then they wrote the film, because how you're gonna? I think they casted and then they wrote the film. I think the casting is amazing. Maybe these actors can play older versions of them, except for Grover. Grover actually fits. But you're gonna have these actors play the older version, and then you can get younger kids to play the younger versions. That would have been interesting, but no, they threw in the older versions. How old are they? Because I think they're all 16 except for Grover. Anyway, pretty much. Let me see. The other characters fit. Let me see. I think the journey of the Lightning Thief, the film, was good. Well, I think it was okay. It's entertaining. It's very entertaining. It's a very entertaining movie. It has great visuals. It has great everything in the right department. It's okay. Well, my opinion is. Here's my opinion. Read Percy Jackson and the Olympians, 5 books. Then watch the film, and then make your review, because the first book was better and it was well explained and it was interesting, but then the film took out so much detail because it made sense, because it made sense, but they could have explained a lot of stuff in a few minutes. I did like they explained the important parts, but they didn't explain the minor parts that are connected to each character. Like, one thing that Annabeth, she's a god of it, the demigod of Athena, the demigod of her mother's Athena, and then like she's an architect. They did not mention that because there are a lot of changes, and I hate the changes between the characters, but the chemistry is all there still. Well, let me see. Logan Renman, he did a fantastic job as Percy Jackson. Alexander Daddario, who plays Annabeth Chase, is fantastic. Brendan T. Jackson, is okay. Jake Albel, Luke Kalston. By the way, he's the villain. The antagonist for all 5 books. I think he's good. I think he pulls off Luke, but he pulls off Luke perfectly. In the book, I liked him, but then in the film, I like the changes to make Luke. It actually kind of made sense. Since he's lightning and he's a modern world, he's like the modern, he walking kind of the modern technology. I think Luke is kind of in the film, but he's so better. I think his motivations are better in the book. I like Luke in book and film. All the gods are perfectly well casted. Let me Sally Jackson and Gabe Ugalano, their casting is perfect. Let me see. I really enjoyed the film, but I think the writing is kind of garbage. The writing is garbage. To me, I think the writing is kind of garbagey. It's trashy, but it's still, well, the story worked. I think the film's story fit. The story actually made sense. It connected everything. Oh, Percy Jackson is 17! Wow! If they do not do Heroes of Olympus, everything is gonna be messed up. Yep, I was right. The aging, I hate the aging, but the story, I think they kept this. I think they did a great adapted version of the book. They tweaked a lot of different things back and forth, but it still worked though. But I'd rather have them as preteens in the first movie, and then teenagers in the second book. I hope the second movie brings out all that emotion and that feel from the second book. And I really enjoy this series. I really enjoy the series, and this could be the next Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, but it has to do well. It made a lot of money. The story fit because I don't know why they did the 17 route and the age of everything. I know they had to tweak a lot of things because you can't really adapt the full book. So I think they chose an okay screenplay. They chose a good guy to write it, but not good enough. I hope the second screenplay of the second movie is better than the first film. I really do, because this is like my favorite book series, and Rick Rodon is my favorite author. Check out Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Check out his Heroes of Olympus, and check off his other books: The Kane Chronicles, the Demigod Files, the Demigod Diaries. Basically, I hope you enjoy this film. I think the writing's crappy, but everything else is perfectly fine. What do I have to say? Oh, my rating for this film is about a 5 out of 10. Directing wise, awesome. Casting wise, visuals, everything's good except for the writing. It's a 5. I'm giving it a 5. Everything else is good except the writing. I hate the writing part. I really hate the writing. I think the art. Oh, by the way, I think the visuals and the art style is perfect for this film, because Percy Jackson is all about that big action adventure, slash fantasy, and because Percy Jackson is a coming of age story, and I really love that part of Percy Jackson. And I think they covered up the coming of age story pretty well in this film, but it's better in the series of books, of 5 books. That's all I have to say about this film. I want you to read the books, watch the film, and I want to see your opinion on this, because the writing's shitty, but everything else is nice and fantastic. This is me signing off, and read Rick Riordan's books. Read Rick Riordan's books. They are fantastic. They are better than Harry Potter. And Percy Jackson and his friends at Percy Jackson is Harry Potter. And the next Lord of the Rings. You better enjoy the books. The film's okay, and I recommend the books better than this film. You give the film a shot. I hate the writing part of everything. I gave the film a shot. I hate the writing part, everything else, and goodbye.